On today's episode of the iBuyer Experiment, we have Nick Friedman, the COO of Accept.inc, and we're announcing a special new partnership that Zoodealio has with Accept in Arizona and Colorado. You are not going to want to miss this episode as we dive deep into making every buyer a cash buyer. Oh my goodness, we are so excited to have you here today, Nick. Welcome to the iBuyer Experiment.
Yo, what's up,
What's
Nick?
up, big dog?
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're stoked. We kind of have a little bit of a history. We're just such a fan of everything that you've created. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company and what you guys do?
Absolutely. So our company is called Accept.inc. Basically, we are a mortgage company that upgrades any offer into a cash offer. The way that we do that is we purchase homes on behalf of buyers that we predict will secure a mortgage, and then we sell the home back to them at the same price. So you can think about us sort of like a rich aunt or rich uncle who fronts cash for buyers and lets them compete on the open market. That's the easiest way to explain Accept.inc. What that does for buyers is obviously allows them to be cash buyers in a really competitive market. What it does for sellers is make sure that they have the speed and certainty to be able to close. And what it does for agents is allows them to basically make sure that they don't have to show 10 or 20 homes to their buyers before they win their offer.
Awesome.
Now, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. Before we move forward, Nick, have you ever seen that TV show from back in the day on MTV called Punk'd?
Punk'd, yes, I've
heard
seen
of that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like this.
Okay,
a little bit different. So we knew the only reason that we could actually get you on here today is to talk about Accept, but I actually have to tell you the real reason that we invited you here.
That's good.
It's called
I'm excited for this.
Art of the Beatboxing Session 1, featuring Nick Friedman.
We're doing it right now.
Oh,
He's like, I got to do it on the spot.
No,
I'm ready to go.
I just thought I would make a joke.
Keith's got to warm it up. Call him out, Nick.
No, for those of you who don't know, Nick is like a master beatboxer, so I had to throw that in there as a joke.
He is.
He came to our Christmas party a couple years ago before
it's
COVID,
amazing.
and just dropped it like it's hot.
It's like entertainment.
I'll drop it like it's hot right now. Then
All right, go for it, man. Let's go.
All right.
Dang.
We'll do part two in a little bit. And I'll
that was awesome, except for you were a little far away from the camera, so it faded in and out. But we know how badass it was.
I'll go really close to the camera and turn it off next time. We'll do a session 2 at the end.
Oh, we definitely love that hidden talent of yours. That's for sure. It's super fun. But thanks for bringing that out, Keith. Bring us to the forefront.
Yeah. So I love your guys' pulling it back to the iBuyer Experiment and talking real estate, all things real estate. I love your guys' founding team, right? Talk to us a little bit about that, right? Because I mean, you guys are definitely, the model kind of startup, right? Young, smart guys, hustlers. You're kind of really just writing the tale of the storybooks that we see in this circumstance, right? Like it's, you, Ian, Nick, right? All you guys have your pieces that you bring to the puzzle. Speak to us a little bit about that. Like, cause again, I think that's just so dynamic and one of the things that makes Accept.inc so incredibly unique.
Yeah, totally. I think one of the things that and I can get a little bit into the founding story here to give some background, but one of the things that we looked at early on before we even started the company was, what is real estate today? What does it look like, and how can it be fixed? And if we could do it, if we could do it all over again, how would it be done? Right. That was the big question that we asked, and we basically said, what's the simplest transaction in real estate, and how do we give that to everybody? That's how we would redo real estate. And it didn't take long to realize that that's a cash offer, right? So we set out and basically said, how do you give a cash offer to everybody? And Adam and I, at the time, it was just Adam and I when we started, really didn't have too much background in real estate. Adam's parents were both mortgage attorneys, so he had some experience there, and he was in and around it. I was a math and econ guy, did not really have much experience either, and I think that played to our strength, I would say. We went in, we said, hey, we're young and we're just going to go in and take a bat and see what we can hit. And we learned a lot of things. We ended up failing for 2 years straight, learning every way not to upgrade a buyer into cash. But I think by not being jaded by the industry going in, that really helped us sort of figure out, hey, this is the model that we want to have, and this is the one that appeals the most to agents, buyers, and sellers today. And so that's sort of how we got to, hey, this is how we're going to do this, and how the founding team, who may not be the most real estate heavy, mortgage heavy, experienced team to start, was able to come up with this idea and then build a team that had that experience around them.
Well, and you guys are making a pretty serious dent, right? Like in the markets that you guys are in, no doubt about it, right? Like, I mean, even some of the way more, I guess I don't want to say way more, but super mega funded organizations, right? Like when I've had interactions with them and mentioned your name in reference to them, they're fully aware of the market share that you guys are having, and really the impact that you're making in the Denver area. Again, you guys have grabbed a lot of market share. Can you speak to that at all? Like how have you guys infiltrated? Like, what is your value proposition, and how have you grabbed so much agent mindshare?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, looking at the Denver market in particular, particularly over the past 2 years, it's been named the hottest market in the country significantly. Many times it's been named that in so many different articles and all that good stuff. Boulder, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, all these places are great places to live. And so, we ended up picking a market that I think really grabbed onto it quickly. One of the ways that we market our product, and like I said before, is, we're just like a rich aunt or rich uncle. A lot of people don't have access to rich aunts and rich uncles, and we come in and say, hey, here's our value proposition. You all now can have a rich aunt or rich uncle. And I think that appeals not only to buyers and sellers, but also to real estate agents. And that's how we've marketed our product in the beginning, is to agents. And they've been able to tell their buyers and sellers, don't settle for anything less than a cash offer if you're a seller, and don't submit anything less than a cash offer if you're a buyer. And that's how we started. And I think one of the biggest ways to build those inroads in a market quickly is just to notice that there's a lot of organic growth that happens when you do a cash offer. When you're on the buy side and you're working with an agent, that list side agent is now going to know, hey, this was a great transaction. It was smooth. It closed in 10 days. It was all cash. How do I get my buyers access to this program? And a lot of our sort of organic growth just comes from the fact that there are two agents on every side of every transaction. And so that's how we built those inroads early. We've also focused a lot on customer experience, a lot on making sure that agents have single points of contact every time they do their transactions. And that's been a really huge benefit for us, is not sacrificing service for, just insane volume. And so that's really been what we focused on in Denver. And that's how we built the insane volume that we've been able to do today.
Yeah. So what I love about it is that the value proposition is irresistible. And if you can upgrade your buyer to a cash buyer, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And so what I think, though, that what we hear a lot with, especially some of the cash offers we deliver when they're really good, it's like, what's the catch? And we hear that sort of skepticism come through from realtors. So let's talk a little bit about realtors and how you can, how you guys are educating them on this, and what are the best practices that they're using to implement this in their business?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that the biggest question we get is that exact question, right? What's the catch? How are you screwing me? How are you screwing my buyers, my sellers, right? Very, very consistent, and we're used to that. And we've heard it ever since the first day we started pitching this, right? But
when is the balloon payment coming?
Yeah, exactly. When is that balloon payment going to happen? And so I think mainly I just go and beatbox for them, and then it sort of not really.
When they're sold, yeah.
When they're sold, exactly.
You are very charming, Nick.
That's it.
Yes.
No, so but because my beatboxing is not scalable, what we do instead is we go to them and we say, here's a service. We are a mortgage company, right? So we're making money off the mortgage. We tell them exactly where we are making that money. We also have a title company in-house, so we make money off of title. And those are two things that, are standard in the industry today, right? Every mortgage company makes money and every title company makes money. People are just confused because we also layer on, hey, we're also a cash offer company that allows you to upgrade your offer into a cash offer. And so the question then becomes, well, how can you do all this and keep your rates competitive, right? If you're going to make money in these two places, how are you going to do that as well? And so one of the things that we do, and we let them know, is, hey, look, our marketing costs are pretty low, right? I'm talking to you right now, and you're probably going to send us a buyer tomorrow, and we're going to work together. It's going to be awesome. And two, we don't commission our loan officers. We salary our loan officers. And that's one piece that we use, as the savings and commission will offset basically that cost of floating the home. The final thing we also say is, look, we're holding on to these homes for a week or two. It's not that much additional cost to us to do this. And because we're so good at managing our risk upfront, that's a big cost savings for us as well. So when we sort of layer in all those items and let them know and be transparent upfront, they remove a lot of that skepticism quickly. I think now it's a lot easier to say, we bought and sold, over $500 million in homes, and and we're still growing quickly. And people sort of say, okay, well, if enough agents have taken a risk on you now, I'm willing to risk the fact that there's actually no catch. And so that's a little bit easier, but in the early stages, that's what we've seen be an issue. And then as far as how they implement it in their day to day, it's really just making sure that their buyers are aware that this is an option, right? And I think that we let them know, hey, just like you let your buyers know, I like lender A, lender B, and lender C, make us one of those lenders, and let them know that we have a special advantage over other lenders in the market, and we can let that buyer win homes, not only in competitive situations, but get the best price in single offer situations as well. That's really I think the main way that we've been pitching this to agents up to this date.
What a great product in a very competitive landscape right now.
Heck yeah.
What do you see when it slows down? Give me some ideas on why a buyer would still want to be cash in a slow market.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And I think one thing that we always talk about in slow markets is, let's say there's only one offer on the house, right? And you're the only one. Yeah, you're going to win with a mortgage. You're going to win with a cash offer, right? Either way, you win that home. But there's a few benefits that you can have with a cash offer that you can't with a mortgage. Today, the average mortgage closes in 47 days. Some lenders claim they can get it down to 35. That's amazing. But also we could get it down to 3, right? If you go with us, and you can go to that seller and say, hey, we can now offer a cash offer that's going to close in 3 days, guaranteed, no questions asked. Here it is. Also, we want an additional $10,000 or $20,000 or $40,000 off of this property in order to make this happen, because your property's been sitting on the market for 40 days. It's been slow. You don't want this deal to fall through. That negotiation power is humongous when you come in with a cash offer versus coming in with a mortgage. And that certainty and speed is way more important even in a down market than it is in a hot market in a lot of ways. Right? Sellers want that speed and certainty more than ever then. And the last piece there, and again, we market to agents. Agents want to make sure that their clients have a great experience. And honestly, they want to get paid in a down market or an up market. They don't want to wait 47 days to find out that a deal's not going to go through and they're not going to get their commission. And so with us, you get that certainty that, hey, you will get paid at the end of this transaction. And by the way, it'll happen in a few days.
In a few days.
That's the difference.
Getting a check soon.
Yeah,
exactly.
45 days down the line.
So you've half a billion in homes bought and sold that you guys have been a part of. Let's be real for a moment. Like, maybe has it ever went south?
It's a great question. Yeah, it's gone south, I think, before in the sense of, we've had some struggles with a couple of deals where we've had, just issues that you would receive in any real estate transaction, right? And again, we're the owner for such a short period of time, but we've had a situation where, the pipes burst when we own the home or something like that, right? And
no. Okay.
Things like that can happen. But because we're not an iBuyer, right, and we're not holding on these homes for 120 days, it's pretty rare that we experience too many issues with the homes themselves. We've had that happen before. We haven't really had anything fall out per se. So every buyer that we've, been able to work with upfront has been the one that has actually purchased the property. So we haven't had any fallout yet, which means our risk has been really good. But yeah, that's happened. And we've had some appraisals come in low. That happens as well. And we take a loss on those homes, but that's the risk that we take ourselves. And so when an appraisal comes in low, we actually sell the home back to the buyer for a lower price than what we had anticipated that value be. And that's a loss that we take, but we're willing to take that because we believe that our risk, our offer needs to be a true cash offer. And in order for that to happen, we have to take on both the risk of the home and the risk of the buyer, not just one or the other.
Now, do you let buyers go and overpay for a house? What do you have? What's the rule with that?
I thought you mitigated that risk.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So the way that we operate there is, so we actually upfront, when the buyer finds a home, we'll give them what we call a value check, which is just an internal assessment of value that we think the property will appraise for. Mm-hmm. So they say, hey, I want to buy this house for $400,000. We say, cool, we think the value is $400,000, right? Now we go through with the transaction, they can afford it. The home is 400. And then all of a sudden the appraisal comes in. We already own the home at this point. We're about to sell it back. The appraisal comes in at 390, right? Now, when the appraisal comes back at 390, our value check is also a guarantee that we will fund that loan up to that amount. And now we all of a sudden have it up to 390. We have to actually reduce the purchase price and sell it back to the buyer at 390. And that's when we take that $10,000 loss. And that's the risk that we take in every transaction that we do. And that is something that has happened before where we've had to sell the home for a loss. But again, we learn from that and we continue to grow. And, we rarely face those issues, but every now and then you'll see that happen.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just learned something new. Thanks.
There you go.
Go ahead.
I was gonna. So what if the list price is 400 and they want to offer 420? Then do they have to come up
It's
with
a
the
competitive
additional
house.
$20,000 up front? I guess.
Yes, exactly. So they can overpay there. And Jason, that was your question originally, so I apologize. But yeah, so they can overpay. So they could come in basically and say, I want to offer 420. Happens all the time, particularly in competitive markets where people are bidding over appraised value. And we say, that's fine. We just need to verify the 20K up front. So not only do they know they can afford it going into it, the agent also knows, hey, I'm not going to have an appraisal gap that my buyer can't cover. I already know they can cover it, worst case scenario. And every now and then, right, that appraisal will still come in at 420, right? You'll get an appraiser who's like, yeah, whatever, I'll sharpen my pencil. It's 420, amazing, right? But if that appraisal came in at 400, that buyer is still ready to go. They know, and we're anticipating the fact that there might be some sort of gap, and they have that 20K in additional assets, either from, a portion of their down payment, they'll reduce it and use that for it, or, a gift letter, or just additional assets they already have.
Very cool.
Got it. So you guys have this all figured out, it sounds like.
We hope so.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of these now. So
A lot of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I just want to make sure everybody listening knows that we are now partnered with Accept in Arizona and in Colorado. So
Yep.
you can make every buyer a cash buyer now. And we're just so excited at no additional charge. You're listening to Nick explain how it works, explain how they do monetize, and it's just brilliant. So let me ask you this. And I don't know if you have numbers or data, but we know that this is gaining a lot of popularity in real estate across the country.
Sure.
And do you have any idea, like, what percentage of transactions are now made cash? Like, what percentage of buyers are being turned into cash nationally? Any idea?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that, if you think about just normal cash buyers, right, who are not being turned into cash, I believe it's around 20% of buyers, and there's conflating reports on this everywhere, but about 20% of offers are cash offers with just standard cash buyers, right? Whether those buyers are actual rich uncles who are helping their buyers buy, I don't know. So technically our institutional model has been done many times for years by rich uncles and rich aunts in the world, right? I think that as far as cash offer companies that are converting buyers into cash offers, it's still a low percentage. I think it's less than 1% of the market, the entire real estate market. So the majority of deals are not being done through a cash offer provider. And that's because it is a very new group of companies that are doing this, and all of them are doing it slightly differently. But I think that sort of crop of startups is relatively new. And I think as we start to gain some more scale here over the next few years, we're going to see that start to become a lot more common of an occurrence. And I believe in a world where, I think that every home should have a cash offer on it. There's no reason to wait 47 days for the most important transaction of our lives to go through. I think that's silly. It's not how we buy anything else today. We can now buy cars online. We can buy them on our phones in 2 minutes. Why can't we do the same thing with homes? And that's where the industry will go. It's just a matter of, who's going to take us there, what crop of startups will be involved. And I think it'll be multiple. I don't think there's necessarily one winner in the space. But that's where I see this going sort of long term.
Yeah, absolutely. These platforms that provide this end-to-end experience. So I love hearing you say that. And that was actually one of the things for me that's huge. Speak to like the technology, because part of one of the things that makes you guys so unique is that digital experience for today's modern homeowner, right? Like their ability to, do all of it in one simple place, the way that you guys connect, the pieces of the puzzle together, the pipes, the plumbing, et cetera, whatever analogy you want to use. But tell us about that. Like where do you feel like your unique value proposition is around that? And then also, where do you see it like going? Like what's the next step for you guys in putting all this together?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, as far as technology goes, like we very much believe in digital, right? I'm sitting here in Denver, Colorado, but right now we're under contract with a couple homes in Arizona, right? And then,
Right.
a couple other markets as well that we're doing some pilots in. So
Yep.
we truly believe that the digital experience is the way to go moving forward. And it's just where the industry is going as well. So from application to closing, everything can be done, online. It can be done on your phone. It can be done on the computer, whatever it might be. So that's a great experience that we want to give to all of our buyers. And then as far as our proprietary, algorithms and technology, like that's really focused on the risk side, right? And making sure that our buyers are not going to fall through, that we're doing that upfront underwrite that, for lenders takes 47 days. For us takes, we have to squish it into 3, and making sure that is working. Our value check technology as well, and making sure that all the algorithms there are correct,
Yeah.
and we're actually making sure that the homes are valued properly. We're predicting an appraised value. We're not necessarily predicting an open market value like an iBuyer would look at. So it's a very different type of valuation that's unique to us. And so I think that's really important for us as far as the proprietary piece. Where I see this going is actually being able to do what we like to call self-serve offers. Where buyers can literally just go and start submitting offers, without much human interaction in the offer process. Today, you have to work directly with, people on our team to go out and submit those offers. And we want to reduce that on the offer submission, piece as fast as possible. We've learned that any friction that you build between a buyer coming into the service and submitting an offer, we want to reduce as much as that as possible for both the agent and the buyer, making it as quick as possible to submit an offer, and make it as quick as possible to get approved as well. And so that's where we're investing a lot of time right now, is speeding up the approval and offer submission process and reducing, touch points, in that front part of the funnel.
Beautiful.
No, I like that, but let's all just be real and know that if you're wanting to take advantage of Accept and upgrade your buyer to a cash offer, you do need to allocate a few days for that approval process. Like you guys are,
It's not like, hey, we found a house.
Yeah, let's
give me some cash.
You guys are lightning fast. Like I love how fast you are. But I think we all need to be a little realistic that there are still some things that need to happen in order for you to issue that cash approval, right?
100%. Yeah. And then again, that's thinking to the long-term vision, right? Of reducing that time. Right now, it's still going to take 3-4 business days basically to get that done. And again, we are doing that as a service to the buyer, right? We're saying, hey, we need you to give us everything so that we can give you everything. Meaning we're going to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars in exchange for you giving us, your W-2s and pay stubs, right? So that's the trade-off here. And we tell that to buyers all the time. It's like, hey, if you find a home immediately and you want to put an offer on it in 5 minutes and you want it to be a cash offer, it's not going to happen. But if you come to us, a week before, which I think is reasonable, and say, I'm going to be looking for a home on Saturday, Sunday. I'm coming in on a Monday. I give you all my documentation and might complete my application. By the time you're shopping that weekend, you're a cash buyer. And I think that's a benefit to buyers, and also speaks to our current process and speed and timing. And people think that, it's slow compared to a pre-approval. But the power of it and the speed of it compared to an underwrite is a lot faster. And the power is obviously a lot, better. So that's the way that we explain it.
Well, and I have a testimonial for you right now. One of our subscribers that we sent a couple of weeks, maybe week or two ago now, that's exactly what happened. They got approved through you, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and she went shopping over the weekend. They had trouble already home shopping. Boom. First weekend out with cash, got under contract. She's literally sending me text messages. My buyer is so happy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Literally the way that you explained it was how reality was. So
awesome. That's great.
It's nice when the pitch matches reality.
Hey, Nick, how are agents in Denver prospecting using this tool or this product?
Yeah, so there's a few ways. I think that one of the things that a lot of agents like to say, and it depends on the side, right? So we have some listing agents on the list side who are always like, they'll go to a listing appointment and say, hey, I'll make sure that any offer that comes in, I'll upgrade it to cash, right? That's one way that they do it, is they go into the listing appointment in listings that way. On the buy side, they're saying, look, and a lot of them are agents who have used this multiple times. They're saying, look, I've done this 3 or 4 times. Here are my experiences that I have had with this company. And here's how I can do this for you. And I can combine my talent as an agent and my negotiation skills by using this cash offer with you as the buyer, and we can win your first or second offer, right? And I think that has been really, really key for us, as far as how agents are using this. It's really like a critical mass kind of thing. Once an agent does about 3 deals with us, at that point, they have enough testimonials to go to other buyers and say, hey, I had a buyer that did this, I had a buyer that did this, and I had a buyer that did this. And it's always a different story, right, for each one. One of them won on their first offer after losing out to 6. One of them beat another offer, $20,000 less, and one of them got a huge discount on the property, right? But all those use cases are ones that they need to see, I think, in real time. And now any buyer that comes in could fit into one of those 3 categories. And so that's been really important for us as far as just agents continuing to use the service. We always try to get those agents to get those 3 transactions under their belts, and then they sort of take it from there and prospect using the testimonials that they had previously.
Beautiful.
Any other stuff you guys have coming down the pike that you can share besides the cash offer, turning your buyers into cash? Any other crafty? We know you're coming up with other stuff.
Yeah,
share anything or no?
You know the answer to that question, but I can't share anything, unfortunately.
Well, there you go. Some more to come.
But exciting things for sure. Exciting things.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I got one other thing. We still have a minute or two. So, just because there's continues to be more buzz about it, and I just use this because I know there's a couple of larger institutions that are using it, but like the instant approval, right? Kind of coincides with what you were saying before, where it's like they're obviously running bigger data, people that have mainstream jobs, they're probably, like running glass house, as far as their job security, all those types of things, right? People who are mainstream approvals. What do you think that's going to look like as we continue to flush these particular pieces out, right? Where somebody literally fills out an application, clicks submit, and they're approved or not approved that fast?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think it all goes back to how you use that approval, right? I think that today, there's a lot of tools that exist, whether it's, pulling asset statements directly from your bank account by just typing in your username and password, or, directly integrating with payroll services like ADP and Gusto to get your pay stubs, right? Like there's a lot of things that exist that can lead to those instant approvals per se. And there are lenders who are trying to do things like that today, or even some of them who are doing it successfully for a certain subset of buyers. But they're not using it in the correct way, in my opinion, right? If you get approved that quickly and you have this strong approval, but you're still submitting a normal finance, offer with contingency,
silly.
You're going to lose still, right?
And
so
silly.
Exactly. So my opinion is if this new crop of startups, including Accept.inc, and hopefully Accept.inc chief among them, is able to offer things like an instant approval for a certain subset of buyers. Now all of a sudden we get to a stage where you're using that to actually go out and become a cash buyer pretty much instantly, and that's a huge benefit where you can actually use that approval towards I'm now a cash buyer. Wake up in the morning and I was not, and now I have $500,000 to go spend on a house. That's a crazy experience that I think I want to create personally want to create for as many buyers as I possibly can. And that's something that, we're definitely going to invest quite a bit in the coming months.
The go giver philosophy there. I love it.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know what else I love? I love your cash guns, and I love your cash suit. And I love all of your guys' fun cash slogans. You're just a really neat company. Mad respect for you and for Adam and everything you've created. It's been such a joy to watch you grow and watch your business just flourish. And it's so exciting to be partnered with you guys. Again, if you're listening, you're in Arizona, you're in Colorado, we have this available for you. So hit us up. And
if you're a subscriber, we have it. Do we have it in the back end now? We have it in the back end, right?
The button's not available in the back end. It will be very, very soon.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't been
soon. It'll be in there in our subscribers' back end to turn their buyer
into cash.
Can you say it's free? It's free, right?
It's free.
It's free.
It's free.
Yep. No additional cost, right?
What's that?
I said you have to pay, but everyone else it's free.
Well,
so we
there's a charge to Zoodealio.
We made a little commercial here for announcing this to Zoodealio agents, and we want to share that with you. Are we able to roll that commercial for Nick now?
No way.
Wait, what? It's free?
Nothing's free.
This is so awesome.
What's the catch?
I'll believe it when I see it.
What a game changer.
Come on, it's really free.
It's really free. Now offering Become a Cash Buyer. No jokes, no gimmick, no cap. Available now in Arizona and Colorado for free. Game changer for my clients.
That's awesome, guys. I'm snapping right now for that. That's awesome. Thanks for putting that together.
All right, Nick. Well, hey, thank you so much for being here. We just appreciate your time, and we're excited to get this rolling, and excited for all of the big things happening with you and Accept.
Absolutely. So excited to be rolling this out in Arizona with you guys, and thanks for having me.
Oh, well, we want to hustle, and remember our subscriber base is all over the place. So as soon as you guys are ready to expand, so
Yeah.
are we.
We're going somewhere else too.
Let's do it. Awesome,
All
guys.
right. Thanks.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks,
you,
Nick.
man.
Appreciate it,
Catch you
man.
later.
All right, later, man.
Bye.